One of my favorite things to do in the 90s as a kid was to stay up super late and watch TV well beyond the watershed. You would get crazy infomercials, some racy films on Radio-Canada, and crazy public access shows that pushed what was considered wholesome entertainment. Tom Green, Trailer Park Boys, Zed, and the show maybe I remember the most, Buzz, all came out of this era and are burnt in my brain so much as to almost become a part of me. My nostalgia aside, these shows are also a consequence of their time, and many are now lost to the apathy of studios who had no digital storage means. Sadly, other than a few clips, Buzz is one of those shows. The skits are written out but can't be found online, and there are almost no interviews with the hosts regarding the show. There are also no physical copies of the media that can legally be sold to anyone. So how do you watch Buzz? Simple answer, you don't. So let's dive into Buzz, the right show at the right time, in the right place. To bring any non-Canadians up to speed, what made Buzz possible was a law forcing broadcasters across Canada to tailor 50 to 60% of their programming to Canadian cultural content. What does that mean? Well, it has to be made in Canada with a Canadian crew, possibly a Canadian writer, Canadian producer, Canadian talent, something like that. To make a long story short, the Broadcasting Act of Canada made 1970s Canadian TV and radio artists almost household names across the nation. And that would continue into the 80s and the 90s, making larger and larger stars as the millennium drew to a close. This is the environment that led to shows like SCTV, Schitt's Creek, and of course, Buzz. So what was this amazing show that I'm throwing so many accolades on? Well, it's pretty simple to describe, and I really don't think that does it justice, but let's give it a go anyways. Buzz started its life off as a quasi-sequel to a street interview show called Street Beat on a local Rogers TV station in Ontario. The producer, Mike McKinnon, was looking to showcase some local comedic talent from Toronto, as well as try to beef up his resume. He brought in Morgan, Mr. Mo Smith, and Rodney Pentland, who were up-and-coming comics in the Canadian comic scene. Rodney would do the street interviews, or the streeters, and Mo would do the skits and the songs. After the initial taping, Pentland would drop out of the show, and Mo would suggest one Darren Jones, a 16-year-old up-and-coming talent in Toronto. With Darren's addition, Buzz was now born. Every year, the show seemed to fine-tune itself more and more. The amount of skits would be adjusted, the humor would grow with its audience, and the streeters and the skits would kind of blend together. It was shocking, hilarious, insightful, poignant, and so very relevant to the zeitgeist of early 2000s Canada. After a few years on Rogers, they would eventually move to a national time slot with CTV's Comedy Network, and that is where I would see Darren and Mo for the very first time. With a larger budget and more eyes on the program, the cast of rotating local comics would grow to international comics. The guys from Buzz would make cameos on other shows, and their influence within the medium could be felt. Buzz had grown from this small local show making fun of people on the street of Scarborough to this sketch comedy standard whose influence could be felt around the world. So what could you expect from an episode of Buzz? Well, things including, but not limited to, sending their intern Jason Rouse to the zoo to joke on animals, or to be a Hooters waitress, putting fellow comedian Jean-Paul in a giant rabbit fursuit to make fun of people on the street, having guests like Mike Beaver impersonate Canadian TV icons, Mo doing a rap or a gospel song about the daily issues of the Afro-Canadian community, Darren testing out Canadian generosity by bribing people to give the homeless their clothes, having interviews with visiting celebrities like Ice-T or Mr. T, where Mr. T actually eats a bee, crude animations, dinner theater parodies where everyone speaks either in a fake German accent or is a pimp and a whore, and what eventually won them the Gemini, think the Canadian Emmys, hosting a KKK rally in the city of Hamilton with Afro-Canadian Klansmen and still being run out of town. Classy move, Hamilton. keep the Klan down. And then, as if it never happened, it was just gone, never to be seen again. So you can feel my frustration here, because I loved this show, and I've always wanted to watch it again. So I had to search for more. And in my quest to find out as much as I could about this show, I first turned to my friends. I asked, have you ever heard of the show Buzz? 99% of the people said no. Okay, well that was a dead end. So I turned to Wikipedia, and other than a small article and a link to Darren Jones's bio, there was nothing there. If you go to Google it, almost nothing. YouTube, very few selected clips. Heck, the Internet Archive, almost absolutely zilch. That's when I knew, in order to get the most accurate recollection of the show, I had to do something drastic. I had to actually sit down and talk with another human. But this is a story that needs to be told, and a show that needs to be remembered. So I soldiered on, and tried to find the contact info for Mike McKinnon, for Darren Jones, and for Mr. Mo, Morgan Smith. Mike turned out to be pretty hard to get a hold of. The only contact I had for him was locked behind a paywall on LinkedIn, so that was a dead end. Next was Mo and Darren. I found Mo's contact on a YouTube channel that I wasn't 100% sure was actually his, but hey, what's the worst that could happen? So I fired off an email. As for Darren, I found his contact on his website, and after pulling myself away from his piercing green eyes, I sent off a similar email. I hoped that someone would respond to me, but honestly, I didn't expect much. This show has been off the air since 2005-2006, and these guys have gone to larger, much better things. So I mentally shelved the idea, went to bed, and hoped that when I woke up, I would come up with something. Now if I was Nick Robinson, here's the part where I would say, so I hopped on a plane to Japan. But nothing so costly and dramatic like that happened. Instead of a plane ticket, when I woke up, I got a simple, one-sentence email. Hello there. Yes, you found the right person. Sounds good to me. I would love to be part of your project. Morgan. Holy shit. I have to interview Mr. Mo.
What's up, everyone? This is the M, the I, the S, the T, the A, the M, the O. It's the one and only Mr. Mo, and you're watching Dive in Canada.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Gathering what I had left of my nerves, I calmed my ass down and got to researching. I found what I could for information and prayed to the interview gods that the majority of my information was correct.
Okay, your pin. Perfect. Holy crow. It's Mr. Mo.
In the flesh.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Things are great. Things are great.
Holy crow, it's Mr. Mo. That was my genuine reaction. Last time I had seen Morgan, it was 2005, and I was 19 years old. That was almost a lifetime ago. I composed myself and got down to brass tacks. With all the information I had found, I expected a bunch of it to be completely false. I was surprised to learn that sometimes the internet really pulls through.
That's right.
So that kind of answers my question, because I'm going to start to get into the Buzz stuff. So at 96, so was the idea of McKinnon's, or was it yours jointly?
Originally, it wasn't my idea at all. It was based on an older show that was called, I think it was called Street Beat. It was two guys on the street doing streeters with people on the street. I don't know how long the show lasted for, but I ended up meeting one of the guys because he was an employee at Rogers. So I met one of them, and he was aware of what we were doing with the show. But I'm not much of a streeters guy. If you talk to me in person, I'm pretty, as much as I don't come off that way, I'm an introvert. So meeting people face to face, people I've never met, it's alien to me. So Darren, that was Darren's thing. Darren was great at doing that type of thing. So I said, I need something that we can put in the show that I can really showcase what I do. So that's where we collaborated with my ideas in regards to putting tiny skits into the show. That's how that got worked in. But originally, Buzz was just a streeter show. As time went on, I incorporated the stuff that I did in the show to give it that uniqueness.
So did you guys have any security or anything? Because some of the stuff you guys did was...
I wish we did have security, because even when we were in Hamilton, we did the remember Cleotis the Ku Klux Klan? We did the Klan rally. We tried to put on the Klan rally in Hamilton, and the people of Hamilton chased us out of that town. Yeah, that day we needed security.
Which, you know,
they didn't realize it was a black guy underneath the costume. So.
Like, at the end of the day, it's really nice to see that Hamilton is that passionate.
Yeah, that was good. I was actually proud of Hamilton. Yeah, I'm glad you guys fought for this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I gladly ran.
And you're going, thanks,
guys.
guys.
Chased out of their town.
And again,
that was actually one of the best shoots I've ever been on. That was so exciting. Like, yeah, my heart was racing. That was incredible. Yeah. The way how it came out on camera, because that was the episode that we won the Gemini for. But the way it came out on camera didn't do it justice of what actually took place that day. It was actually edited wrong. If that was put together properly, oh my gosh, people would have been dying when they seen that segment. But that was one of my favorite segments of all time.
Because I never saw you guys as a show that went out of their way to offend people. You just put something out there, and if people were offended, that was their problem, kind of thing. So when you talk to Darren or Micro or like any of those guys, like, were you ever saying, hey, I really want to go out and say something horribly offensive?
No. Yeah. It was never like that. It was like that. It would be like, oh, I have this idea and I think it's really funny. Or I have an idea and I think it's really, really shocking or something like that. But it was never like, let's put this out. This is really going to offend this group. It was never like that. No.
Yeah,
if it offended you, it offended you. But we were really just going for what made us laugh in the moment.
Okay.
Or if we can could we get away with it? Yeah.
We're actually getting to that, because my next question is it true that you were almost canceled after the first episode because you asked someone, if hookers were delivered to your door like pizzas, what toppings would you like on them?
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. But I think that is true. Yeah, that is true. So we almost got canceled. I totally forgot we almost got canceled. Oh God, yeah, that is true. Yeah. Where'd you find that?
I'll show you in a second. I have done some research.
That's amazing. Yeah, I totally forgot about it. But that's absolutely true. We almost got canceled. Yeah.
That kind of brings me to the end here. How and why did Buzz end?
Well, we just ran out of ideas. It was getting to the point where it was just hard to come up with these ideas. And we were already on for, well, at that point, we're on to 5 seasons, moving into our 6th season. And also, too, the problem is when you're doing shows like that, when you create something that's so popular, you have to go and you have to demand more money, right? You can't do it for the same money you did it last year and all that type of stuff. So after a while, it just gets to a point where it's like, you know what? We can't afford to keep the show on anymore because the show was pretty costly. So after a while, yeah. 1 year, I think we did it for the same price, but we couldn't do it the next year. So that just became, those type of things became an issue. So it got to the point where it was like, okay, you know what? Do you guys have any ideas left? It's like, we have enough to put on one more. So we had a meeting about it, and we made a decision to make it the last season. So we knew a year in advance that was going to be the last season, and we're going to wrap it up. So that's what brought it to an end, really. Running out of ideas, and also could they afford us? Because they have their budgets too, and if you go beyond their budget, you're going to get canceled anyway eventually. Because you're either going to do it for the same price or and you can't do it for the same. You're not going to be respected if you keep doing it for the same. So you end up moving on.
The big tragedy right now is that there is no archive of Buzz. Do you think that Buzz still exists somewhere?
Yeah, Mike. Well, here's the thing. There's so much stuff that went down that was just there's a story that I can't really get into because I don't have all the facts. So I don't want to put out false information. But apparently, with MTR went bankrupt for whatever reason, which I can't get into. They went bankrupt. So I think all the Tom Green stuff and all the other shows and specials that they made, including Buzz, was held as collateral. Because I don't think they've ever paid back that whatever money that they owed to whoever. So all our stuff, all that footage is stuck with the bank, with that bank that held it as collateral. That's how I remember the story. So when we ended the show, we could have made a lot of money in DVDs, tons of money in DVDs, but all that stuff was locked up. All that stuff was held by whatever bank, because I think FTR probably owed them like $1 million or something like that. They couldn't pay back. So all that footage got stuck in there, and we didn't have the rights to do it, to get the footage and to put out the DVD versions of the past episodes. So all that stuff pretty much got lost. Mike, the producer, I'm sure he still has all that footage, but of course under contract he can't take that footage and release it. So, but yeah, he has all that footage and stuff. If I wanted to get episodes of past episodes, he could get it for me. He's a big producer now. He's a huge Canadian producer now. So yeah, he can pull some strings. But yeah, he can't. That stuff can't air.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. So yeah, Buzz gets lost in history unless you're around to see it.
So Morgan turned out to be an amazing person to talk to. He was very upfront and open, and I do appreciate him sitting down and talking with me. So what is Morgan doing nowadays?
People always want to be with someone who can make them laugh. So, and I think I did a lot of that throughout the years of my nonprofit. I've been in nonprofit now for the last almost 16 years now. So yeah, it's been a while. My YouTube page, my YouTube channel, I can't remember what it is. Morgan O. Smith, Unity, whatever. If you find Unity Morgan O. Smith, it'll be the one where you see a lot of the latest segments that I do on that. Totally different from Buzz stuff. I'm just doing Eastern philosophy pieces, insights from my own spiritual awakenings and of that sort. So it's left field. Totally left field. People will be like, "What the hell is Morgan doing? How come he's not doing Country Modi and Sweet Daddy Third Leg and all that stuff?" But I'm turning 50. I'm turning 50 in about 2 months.
Okay.
Right, so lots of things have changed. I have children now and all that. I have 3 kids. I have a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 14-year-old daughter, and all that stuff. And yeah, just doing whatever I do and trying to change lives in the positive way as well. But I'm not regretting my old days. No, it's there. It's history. I'm not taking it back.
Yeah.
And it's all there. I'm glad I did it. So.
And that is the story of Buzz, a show of its time, before its time, and for those who remember it, almost timeless. Could it exist today? I would argue that it already does in other streeter formats, especially on mainstream TV, YouTube, and TikTok. As for the edgy humor, well, that also exists as well. People push the envelope. It's just what we as humans like to see. And if you remember Buzz, please leave a comment on the video below. I'd love to hear about your stories. I'll also put up a companion video of the full interview with Mr. Mo, so please go check that out as well. He has a lot of interesting things to say, and I am trying to track down his single that he produced with Lisa Lougheed, so keep an eye out for that. And as always, thanks for watching. Huge shout out to Morgan. Thank you so much for doing that interview with me. Again, you're a great guy, and please check out his stuff. I've left some links to his son's page and his pages down below. So please click them and send him some love. He's doing some great work in his community. So please, send him some love.